Welcome to the first episode of the
Sir.
Electives Podcast.
Sir.
You're with my cousin Malcolm. I'm David, your co-host. Super excited to get this first episode
Yeah, man.
recorded, man. It's been a little rocky start because this is
has.
technically our first episode, but
Right.
not our first episode.
Right. Which honestly is, a blessing in disguise.
I agree.
When you first start out anything, when you have a business idea or there's something that you want to pursue, something that you want to go after, initially, man, you've got all this energy, all this focus, right? And somewhere down the line, something happens
Yep.
that throws that and derails that train, all that momentum, everything that you just had, and it goes completely off the tracks, crashes and burns. Now, you and I both know from life experience that was going to come regardless. We just didn't know when. We didn't think it was going to happen this soon.
Right. Yeah, it happened quick.
Which is the funny part, but
Yeah.
it just goes to show you that, number one, we are headed in the right direction.
Right.
Because anytime you want to get somewhere and anytime you want to get to a place of success or whatever it is, you're heading in the right direction when you run into obstacles,
Right.
and we ran into one literally right away.
Right away, man.
And
right away.
for our viewers and our listeners, the new name of our podcast and what we're going to present to you guys, like he said, is the Electives. We're super excited because the Electives is perfect. Honestly, it's the perfect name for us. It really gives you guys an idea of what we're going to be covering. As you know, when you either if you went to high school, college even, you had your main courses that you had to take. Right?
Didn't have a choice for those.
Didn't have a choice for
Right.
those. But then you always had your electives, which are classes you get to choose to take. And it's, what you want,
Right.
and it's what interests you.
Right.
And we're super excited because we have so much content. There's so many things that we're going to talk about, so many things that we're going to discuss, so much content that we're going to give you guys. And from I'm really excited, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
Man, I'm with you, man. And then just to like what he was talking about when you're hitting that wall, we got an episode on just that because
Yeah.
we've been going through all the episodes that we're gonna do and just that. And if you've been there and you're like, man, I just don't know what to do,
Mm-hmm.
stick with us because we're gonna get there
So tell them what happened.
with the podcast. How we
what
started.
happened? What was our first roadblock that we ran into that literally took the train off the tracks?
So the first roadblock was the camera.
Yeah.
Remember the camera
Yeah.
was the first one.
Yeah.
We recorded the whole episode, actually a couple episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and come to find out that the camera turns off at a certain time limit, and then we kept going.
Got a timer. Yeah, it's got a timer on it to keep it from burning the battery out or whatever.
Right. So that was for me. That was super discouraging because I was like, man, we just filmed everything, a few episodes. I was super excited to get to editing it.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, it didn't record everything. So
Yeah.
now
So
we
we
gotta
got the
start over.
audio, but we don't got all the video.
Yeah, we didn't have all the video, and you can't have one without the other.
Right. And we're thinking of how we're going to piece this together. Maybe we'll just do the audio for the first couple of episodes. But realistically, man, we want to give you guys a professional product.
Right.
And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it the right way.
Right.
And upon that, that was the first issue.
That was the first issue.
Second issue was, and it really wasn't an issue per se, but it's something that he and I discussed before we even shot our first initial episode, which was, is the name right?
Yeah, the name we had a ring to it,
Right.
but just something was off.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like it was bad. It was just but does it fit? Like when you go try on some shoes, like you're like,
Exactly.
man, it kind of fits good, but
Yeah.
but then you go run down the
Yeah.
Foot Locker or
Yeah.
whatever, and you're like, nah, I don't like these.
Yeah,
So that,
or like we're both athletes.
Right.
That a shoe may fit well when you're just walking in it, but then playing
Right.
in it,
that's different.
totally different.
Totally different.
And maybe rubbing against your ankle a little
Yup.
bit, you know what I mean? And just the smallest thing can be irritating. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how the name really was for us. We liked it, we loved it, but we felt like it kind of put us in a bubble, right?
Right.
To an extent. It just limited us. But this name, this podcast completely really opens up the doors for us to go in any topic, any direction, and give you guys exactly what we know we can do, which is plenty of content, a lot of intelligent topics, plenty of good dialogue, you know. I'm really, really excited, man. Really excited.
Which brings us right to the title of the first episode, which is developing the right mindset. So, which is, I mean, so we're not experts by any means. We just got experiences, and personally, myself and I know my cousin Malcolm has worked on ourselves over the years to reach towards having the right mindset. So that with the intro that we just went over how we got to where we're at, I think if we weren't able to have the right mindset or open mind with each other to try to get us towards where we both want to go, then I think it would have been a little more difficult.
I agree. And we're very fortunate because we've known each other since we were kids.
Right, which could be good and bad.
Good and bad, right? Because some people don't get along with their family members and their
Not at
cousins.
all,
They don't talk to them at all.
Right.
But the one thing about you and I is, since we've been kids, man, we've always find a way to come back and hang out and kick it. Whether it's playing basketball, family.
Yeah, it was music at one point.
Yeah. Multi-level MLMs. Multi-level marketing.
I was selling you, you were selling me.
Yeah.
And we didn't sell each other.
I got to go to your event, those Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. in the back of a hotel lobby somewhere.
It just goes to show you, though, man, like you were selling something and I was selling something and neither one of us bought it. Like, I didn't buy your stuff, you didn't buy my stuff, so that should have been a sign from the jump.
You're right, it should have. But we were young, man. We didn't know any better. We were, 20, 21?
Yeah, we
I
were
think
super
at the time.
young.
Somewhere
20,
around
21.
there. Maybe even 22, 23.
Oh, man, those were good times.
Yeah, those were good times, man.
Yeah.
Those were good times. But that just goes to show you that also resiliency.
Yep.
Right? The ability to, like, I think we talked about this the other day, or we might even talked about this earlier today, but just because we had that hiccup, just because we had these setbacks, whether it be earlier in our 20s or even now, right? With this episode and with everything, we still found a way to say, no, man, we're going to stick together. We're going to figure this shit. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah,
we're going to find a way. We know there's a way. We just have to figure out what's going to work for both of us.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And, man, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us for how we've gotten here.
Yeah. So the key to everything was just being able to bounce back, keep that open mind, keep the ideas flowing.
Mm-hmm.
So, in this period of time, we were throwing names, working on logos, trying to see what looked right, because that was the other issue, is the logo. For some reason, like, it looked decent, but it wasn't just, there was just no wow factor to it. Like, I was like, it's kind of like, that's all right.
Right.
So that'll bring us to the next topic, which is your vibe affects your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's huge.
Yeah, that's huge. Share your thoughts on that.
So, like, your vibe affecting your tribe, at least in my opinion, and I'll just use us as an example, but like everything that I just said, we had to make a conscious choice that even though we've had those previous failures in our past experiences together, that neither one of us gave up on the other one.
Yep.
We always stayed optimistic.
Right.
It's like, so what, we failed. What's next? You know what I mean? Let's pick something else up and throw it at the wall. And if you're able to get something to stick, well, let me come and look at it and see how it's sticking.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was I always say this: what's understood doesn't need to be explained. And I feel like you and I have always had that relationship between one another where we've always gotten that about each other. I don't know, maybe it's because it's related or just because we're very similar in the way that we think, but it was like a no-brainer.
Right.
It was a no-brainer when you first brought this idea to me. You were like, "Hey, cuzzo, man, this is what I got. This is what I'm thinking." And I was like, "Click! I've already been thinking of doing this.
Right.
I already heading in this direction."
You're talking about the podcast direction,
the
right?
Podcast. Yeah, the podcast direction. Yeah, because I plan on doing one on my own.
Yeah.
But who better to do one with than my co-host here? You know what I mean? It just worked out. Timing's a lot of it, but to go back to your initial question, your vibe affecting your tribe, you have to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. individuals that have resiliency, that aren't afraid to fail, that aren't afraid to get punched by life and get knocked down and get back up and get back in the ring with you. And they want to see you win, too. You need to surround yourself with people that want to see you win, whether it be family, friends, whoever. And those are the people that don't want to see you win. Initially, if you're a younger person and you're watching this, it's going to be difficult for you to pick up on the cues of someone who really is, let's just say, a snake in the grass. Because you don't know. You don't have enough life experience to know that this person really isn't in your best interest. They'll smile in your face in the moment that you turn around. They're hoping and praying that you fail, and those are individuals you want to try and stay as far away from. And one of the things we want to preach to you guys, and not even necessarily, I'm not saying preach, but like not in a religious sense, but we're going to remind you guys that it's okay to make mistakes. Like, we want you to make mistakes. We want you to fail to an extent. Now, obviously, don't put yourself in a really a terrible situation. But the reason why is because it helps you grow, right? Those experiences help you grow. They help you become a better person. And by doing so, it'll be easier to find the right people to surround yourself with, and I mean, when I think back, I'm extremely thankful, right, for the people that I have around me now. Extremely thankful for my family. I'm extremely thankful for my friends, my coworkers, because everyone around me right now is solid, and I know they're solid.
That's good.
Yeah, and that's a blessing, man. That's a good space to be in. Yeah. What about you, man? What do you give me your breakdown on?
Yeah, so I mean, just to use the same example, us. I mean, I had been wanting to start one for a while, but it's just finding like-minded individuals is always the toughest part of it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And it's not a bad thing. It's just like you have to find somebody who wants to go in the similar direction that you're going into,
right,
in order to kind of accomplish whatever goal it is.
Right.
So on the flip side of that, because I was going to ask you this, but was there ever a time where your tribe was negatively affecting you?
100%.
Like the vibe.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Was it like when you were younger?
Yeah, when I was younger.
When you were younger.
I think like most kids that are in high school, like I had a lot going on in high school.
Right.
My parents, and this isn't a knock towards them. I love both of them to death. I understand that they're human beings, right? First and foremost, and that even before me and my brother came along, they've had life experiences. They've had failures. So I'm not saying this as a knock towards them at all. It's just reality, right? They were going through a divorce. A lot was happening. We were living in two households at the time. We ended up moving to one.
Right.
And when you're going through all of that as a young person, when your home life is unbalanced and unstable, there's a 99.9% chance that your social circle and your environment and everything that you do outside of your home is going to be somewhat unstable.
Right.
Because you just learn to wear a mask. You're just a kid. You don't know any better. So you put the mask on and you try to fit in where you can.
Right.
And whether it be sports, whether it be the arts, whether it be music, whatever it is, you're going to try and plug yourself into wherever you can be accepted. Right. And sometimes you pretend to be someone you're not. And that's honestly one of the worst things that you can do. And like we said, just the young people that are watching this, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to do it. But recognize when you are doing it. Recognize when your body doesn't feel right when you're around certain individuals. If your gut is turning and you got like that vertigo feeling. Yeah. You know what I mean? When you hit turbulence and the plane goes up a little bit and you feel like your stomach's going up. If you feel like that when you're around anybody, the person's not good for you. You shouldn't be around that person, right? Yeah. And in high school, I felt that a lot at times, right? Being in certain spaces because I didn't want anybody knowing about my home life.
Right. Well, yeah, because you're young, so it's like
it's you're thinking everybody's got this perfect life,
right?
All my friends live in nice houses, and their parents must not argue, and their parents aren't getting divorced. Right. Only come to find out 10, 15 years later, almost everybody's parents are divorced.
Yup.
You know what I mean?
Yup.
And parents argue all the time. Human beings argue all the time.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you literally are learning on the fly as you go through life. You know?
Right, right.
And yeah, I do remember putting myself in some situations, man, where you know I wanted to be accepted by these individuals, only to find out these people really don't care about me.
Yeah.
You know, and I got a few memories in particular that are burned into my psyche,
Dang.
that are burned into my memory bank.
Dang.
And I'm so thankful that they happened.
Right.
Because still to this day, man, I am comfortable in my own skin.
And that's the key right there.
It is, man. It is. Because it allows you to truly be free.
Right.
And you also become a magnet when you're being 100% authentically yourself. That's how you attract your tribe.
Right. Because the number one lesson is you don't chase.
No.
You attract.
No. Exactly. And that's a hard lesson to learn. Because, yeah, when you're younger, you're chasing validation.
Right.
I want the basketball team to like me. I want
Right.
the soccer team to like me. I want the art people to like me. I want this girl to like me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And really, you do all of those things and you try to do all those things only to be let down.
Right.
By those same things that you're chasing.
Yep.
You know? And it can happen when you're a teenager. It can happen when you're in your 20s. It can happen when you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s even.
Yep.
If you don't catch yourself doing it.
Yep.
So I would definitely give that little tidbit of advice. Check in with yourself a lot. Often, man. Ask yourself if you're really happy, right? Am I getting that feeling in my stomach or not?
Right.
If you are getting that feeling for whatever reason it may be, look into it. Look into what might be causing that.
Yeah.
You know? What about you?
I would say a lot of it was similar to yours.
Okay.
But then a lot more as I got older. You know, post college.
Okay.
You know, because you're growing. You know, well, for us, we're growing into young men.
Yeah.
You know, I still think personally now that when I was younger, I didn't say it, but now that I'm 32, I think if you're 21 through 26, no offense to you guys, but I think you're still a kid.
You're still a baby.
You're still a baby.
You have no idea. Yeah, and at that time when you're 21, you think you got this shit figured out.
Right, and you don't.
You don't.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you don't. And people used to laugh at us.
Right, because I used to be, man, I'm a grown, you know what I'm saying? I'm a man.
A grown
ass man. But no, I would say post college was when I really started to feel more of those, like, but an even heavier sense of those feelings where you're just like, man, this don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is, but it don't feel right.
I can't quite put my finger on it.
Right. You know,
I know this isn't it.
Right. So then, now here you're 32. Those feelings are, once I feel it, I'm out.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. If I'm at a place, my girlfriend sometimes she gets mad at me, man, because if I get a certain vibe, doesn't matter where I'm at, a restaurant, a party,
right,
a bar, I will leave.
Yeah, I'm out.
No questions asked. I don't care if I've already spent money. It doesn't because my inner peace is more valuable to me than whatever amount of money I spent or whatever space I put myself in or put us in for that matter. You know?
Yeah. No, I agree with that, man. Yeah, definitely go off those feelings, and when it don't feel right, it just ain't right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then that'll take you right into allowing yourself to build that team around you, because now you're attracting people that want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? So whereas you chasing people, asking them to come do stuff with you or whatever the case may be, if you're chasing them, they don't really want to be there. They may just be there for the wrong reasons. So
yeah, for sure. And would you say, I think this is a good question to ask for our listeners and viewers. Where should you look for people that are like-minded? Because I got a couple ideas.
You got a couple ideas? That's a good question. Yeah.
Not to put you on the spot here, but
that's fine. That's a good question. I think for me, just for me personally, I didn't know where to look, but I just knew after a certain period of time, I was just like, okay, if I continue to do this, these doors that I'm going through are gonna lead me to somebody
Yeah.
that I'm supposed to be connected with. That like that relationship is gonna be. I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, so this is
Mm-hmm.
you were the person I was supposed to be cool with, or you were the person
Mhm.
I was supposed to meet,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there, that's how I kind of built like my little circle around me.
Got you. Got you.
I want to hear where you would look for first.
So I asked that question, where would you look? But when I think about it, even myself, as I'm hearing you talk about it, there's an old saying: when the student is ready, the master appears. I say that
Ooh.
because
Wait,
when-
say that one more time for me.
one more time for the
Say it
people at
one more-
home.
one
One
more
more time
time
for the
for
people
me.
at home. When the student is ready, the master appears, or the teacher appears, right?
Okay.
And when I think back to when I was even a young kid, before my teenage years, there were men in my family, my father, my grandfather, family friends of my grandfather or my father, who were, I didn't even realize it at the time, but they were mentoring me because they
Dang.
saw something in me from a very young age. And what they saw was that I had the ability to pay attention to my surroundings, to somewhat be aware, and to be somewhat introspective and think about, how does this make me feel, right?
Right.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but like I said, they were watering me. They've been watering me since the beginning. And those older individuals or mature individuals are people that should be in your tribe first, in my opinion.
I agree.
You know, in ancient civilizations or in indigenous cultures, the elderly are the wise people, right?
Right.
So if you're fortunate enough to still have your grandparents in your life, on
Right.
your mom's side or your dad's side, and if you've lost, if you've lost your grandparents, obviously we feel for you.
Right.
You know, I lost my grandmother. I believe it's been about 10 years now. But we definitely feel for you, and our heart goes out to you. And if you can, if there's somebody else, older aunts, older uncles, pick their brains. You know, if you've got any kind of inquisitive mind, if you're one who's like us, man, who's always kind of felt like you're meant to do something, or you're meant to be successful, or whatever it is,
Right.
go in and talk to the older people that are around you, because they've got gems. And if some of them are gonna, it may take you a little bit longer with some of them.
It may take a few questions.
It may take a few questions, but once they sense, because that was the thing for me, my mentors, once they sensed this kid, he's a student now.
Yeah.
He's asking the right questions, right?
Right.
I didn't just throw him an underhand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where he can just hit it out the park. Like,
Right.
No. He's asking the right questions. Let me see if he can hit this fastball.
Yeah.
And I would hit it. I'd connect with it. And I'd look up and I'd be like, man, you know what? These older guys maybe know what they're talking about, you know? And then to your point, you get 32. Man, a lot of stuff that those older guys were saying to me when I was young makes perfect sense now.
Yep.
And
That they
even though
would.
some
I
of
think
them-
they were. How old were they? Were probably about.
Man, they had to have been in their, at
Was
the
it-
time when I was a kid, they had to have been in their 50s.
Well, how old was your dad though?
My dad, my dad had me when he was 28.
So your dad was
Exactly
30.
in
you
his
know, 30
30s,
in his
40s when we were growing up,
Yeah.
which is around the time frame that we're at right now.
Right.
So that's where the wisdom really kicks in. And to be
Yep.
honest with you, I feel like we're just getting started.
That's how I feel now, man.
At 30, I feel like we are just getting started, man. I honestly don't feel like I've reached my prime yet.
No,
You know,
not at all.
this is just the beginning. And I think for those of you who are younger, who are anywhere between 18, 25, or 18 to 30 for that matter, be patient. This is life is a chess game, okay? Every move to an extent should be calculated. Now you're going to make mistakes, but be patient. Do not rush the process. You don't want to rush the process. You know what I mean?
Can't rush the process.
You don't take a pizza out the oven after it's been in there for 2 minutes.
Right.
You got to let it cook.
Right.
You have to let your growth cook. You don't want to rush it. I promise you, when you get closer to your 30s and things start to really slow down, that'd be the best way that I could put it. Is
Yep.
that things start to slow down. you start removing the negative people around you. You start surrounding yourself with the other members of your tribe.
Right.
And you realize what's important.
Yep.
You know, you realize, I don't care what these people on social media have to say.
Right.
I don't care if they leave a comment that's negative.
Don't
I go
matter.
home to a family that loves me,
Right.
that cares about me, and that knows me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? These people don't know me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't know anything about me. But yeah, man, this is a beautiful space to be in. And to go back, you know, because I don't want to get too far off the track, but to go back, that's the first place I think you should look to get people into your tribe is the elderly in your family who have the wisdom.
Yep.
And then from there, study successful people. With studying successful people, what kind of learner you are, right? Because I think that's important. Are you a person who likes audio? Do you learn more if you read?
Right.
Or do you like YouTube? Do you like social media? All of that plays an important role. Figure out what kind of learner you are first, and then once you know that, then go to those spaces and try and study just anybody who's successful, right?
Right.
Who's good at, you know, maybe podcasting or making videos on YouTube or social media content. Because ultimately, not everything is going to work for everybody, you know, and you really want to find what's going to work for you. I know I personally, when I first began like my journey, to be honest with you, we're very, very lucky to be born when we were born.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we were born before technology really took off, right?
Yeah.
Now, we were aware of it when we were kids. Like we literally got to see the beginning, and then it just fucking skyrocket into a completely different stratosphere.
Yep.
So we know what life was like before that. But since we grew up in the technology age, we have access to the internet, right? But it can be a gift and a curse. Too much information and the wrong information can be bad.
Right.
But if you chop it up into pieces that you can digest, well, now it can be very, very, very useful. And so with us being born in this time period, man, we have the access to any and everything, basically.
Right.
If there's something that you want to learn, you can go online and find it. You can find a master. Now, finding a master is one thing, right?
Or a coach in another word.
Or a coach, or a master.
If
coach,
you don't want to
a
call
teacher.
somebody your master,
but,
but
you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of master, like I think of kung fu. You know,
yeah,
what I
I
mean?
think
Like,
of kung fu.
I think of some
or,
kind of martial art.
Right.
You know, like
that's how I get
that's really what I mean by it. But ultimately, you need to make sure you're asking the right questions when you find that person as well. Because
so you have to stay ready.
Yeah, because a master, a mentor, or a teacher, they naturally want to teach. They naturally want to show what they know, but they only want to give that information to those that they feel that are worthy of it. Because knowledge is dangerous.
It is.
Knowledge is important. Knowledge in the wrong hands could be the difference between World War III
right.
and peace for another 50 years.
Right.
You know, so
who's somebody you're studying right now?
Ooh, man, I gotta.
Well, let's pick one.
Okay,
let's
give me a
pick
second
one.
here. He's a Buddhist monk, and his name is Shi Heng Yi.
Mm.
Okay, and I've watched some of his podcasts on YouTube with the Mulligan brothers. Shout out to the Mulligan brothers. We'd love to connect with you guys one day. We would love to do an episode with you guys one day. They're fantastic guys. They've grown their channel. They grew their channel organically over the years. They're definitely solid people, solid individuals. But they interviewed this Buddhist monk, right?
Okay.
And the reason why I feel like I'm gravitating towards him right now is because going back to what I said a little bit earlier, we're at that age now where life's slowing down, right?
Yeah.
Buddhist monks are all about every moment being present.
Right.
Right? And that is an art. That is probably one of the most, it's probably the most difficult thing you can do in life is to be present for every single moment and not allow your mind to wander anywhere else. Not thinking about tomorrow, not thinking about what you're going to eat for dinner, not thinking about anything other than having this conversation with you and being present and giving all my full attention and focus to this. Because in doing so, you know for a fact that you're going to be giving it your best.
Right.
And that's who I've been studying right now, man. And it couldn't have came at a better time, especially with the hiccups that we had with the podcast and everything. It's like, hey, it's going to be fine. Take a step back. When you take a step back, you can usually see something that you missed. And we did.
Right.
From slowing down.
Just thinking.
If we were younger, man, we would have just ran with that and probably ran it right into the wall.
Yep. And then just started all over
again.
again.
Start all over, man. Yeah, man.
So, no, that's true. That's true, man.
Yeah. What about you?
So it seems like I still, if it's about one person, it still seems like no matter how old I get, I still go back to like studying the way Jordan was.
Ooh.
Michael Jordan. For some of this was before LeBron. For if you're younger and you guys don't remember Jordan, but no matter what age I am, it seems like I learn something new every year from how he used to think.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, that's just studying as far as like mentality goes.
Right.
Mentality. I always like try to keep like that Jordan
Game 6
that
Utah game?
Jordan Game 6 like
mentality.
Yeah, just hungry all the time.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how I just always look at Jordan's mentality. And then on the other side, it's there's not any one specific person, but it just seems like all the successful people I follow.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm studying their habits. Like what do they do that I'm not doing every day?
Mm-hmm.
And it may not be like some of them have these crazy schedules where they wake up like 4 a.m.
Right.
I mean, I get it.
It's extreme.
It's extreme. Yeah. Obviously, I can't do that. I have a different life.
Right.
That goes to everybody else. I know you guys watch probably some of these people too, and they're like they wake up at 4, they go to the gym at 4:30.
Yeah.
Somebody makes their food at 5.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But it's more of like one of the habits that I've picked up is reading. So and it's a recent habit, so I'm not, gonna say I've been doing this all year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a recent habit, and I so far this month I read 1 book already. So
nice, man.
And that book that book opened up a whole different world for me, man.
Right.
So so I really agree with that. Studying successful people, studying their habits, just trying to just duplicate what they're doing, because obviously it works.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the key to the game of life, is just duplicating what already works.
Yeah, there's plenty of blueprints out there, right?
Yeah.
Find a blueprint that works for you.
Right.
And that's why it's important to use social media or the internet to your advantage, because there's someone in some walk of life that is similar to what you want or where you're trying to get to, right? And you study them. And take you don't have to, like you said, some of these people are extreme. I mean, you don't have to do every single thing.
Right.
And you shouldn't try to do every single thing. You shouldn't in the beginning, especially if you're a young person and you're just starting out. You got to chop this up, man, to where you can digest it. Because it's a lot of information. Like I said, this whole internet thing, it can be a gift and a curse. If you put too much information in your brain and you overcrowd it, and then you're setting yourself up to crash almost.
Right.
But I really like the fact that you brought up reading, because I want to talk about the importance of that just for a split second.
Yeah.
To our viewers and our listeners. There's a reason, and I'm speaking, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I don't want people to think like, oh, where's he pulling this from, right? Or why is he even bringing this up? But I'm half black and half Mexican. I was raised by my dad and my mother, but my mom's side of the family, with her being Mexican, was mainly in Mexico.
Right.
So a lot of my Mexican roots and my Mexican culture, I didn't get to experience a ton of it when I was a kid. I did get it in spurts. I did get it in spaces. And we would go down to Mexico and different things like that. But I was predominantly around the black side of my family. I bring that up because slavery is something that happened in this country almost 400 years ago. Right. And one of the things they didn't want slaves to do was read. And you ask yourself the question, well, why wouldn't they want them to read, right? Of course, they wanted them to do whatever they wanted to do, but it was also because reading frees the mind.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Reading is knowledge. Reading is power.
It is.
You see somebody reading a book, there's a very good chance that that person is an intellectual human being,
Yep.
right? Or that they're at least aware enough of themselves to care about reading and wanting to obtain more knowledge.
Right.
And I've rarely met someone that reads who isn't successful.
Yeah. So that's the key to the whole thing.
Right.
Because you look at these people and you're like, man, you read?
Yeah.
Like, that's what you do with your time?
Because,
But
because
it's like,
reading
yeah.
used to be a nerdy thing to do.
Right.
And it's no disrespect to anybody that's a nerd. Like, I've learned to... I was a nerd as a kid growing up. I used to be
Right.
really good in school. And then one day I was like, okay, I don't want to study.
You're like, I'm too cool, man.
Well,
I
not
play
even-
ball, man. That's what I do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was a part of it, right? That
Right,
was a part of it. Like,
right.
you don't want to be the super smart kid and the athlete. You just
Right.
want to be,
Yeah.
you know, you
That's
just
how
want
it was.
to, yeah, you want people to look at you as an athlete. But, and then there came a point where I was never really that great of a student. Once I realized that I didn't want to go to college, I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll just do
Yeah.
enough just to get by.
Right.
But reading now that I'm 30, right, I look forward to it when I
Yeah.
make the time for it. And even
Right.
myself, I have to remind myself, hey, I got to make time for this.
Yeah.
Because I know if I don't, I probably won't do it. And even if you read, like my thing is try and read 10 pages a day.
Right.
There's 30 to 31 days in a month.
About
If you
300
read 10 pages a day, most books aren't even 300 pages.
No, they're not.
So you could finish a book a month.
Right.
And if you finish a book a month in a year, that's 12 books.
Yeah, they say the average, I think every millionaire, the average millionaire reads 12 books a year.
Yeah.
So
That's in the example that we just gave you is chopping it up into bite-sized pieces so that you can digest it. 'Cause
Right.
if someone said to you, or if we said to one of our viewers or listeners, I want you to read 12 books in a year.
Right.
It sounds like, well,
Sounds a
who
lot.
do you think I am, man? What do you think
Right.
I am, man? Einstein? Albert Einstein?
Right.
Like, I can't read 12 books in a year. But if you say to yourself, okay, no, 10 pages a day. I know you can
Right.
do 10 pages a day. Everybody's got
Right.
10 pages a day time. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Put down your phone for a quick second. Stop scrolling through your feed.
Right.
Read 10 pages and see how it changes your life.
Yeah, because that one book opened up, a crazy whole new perspective on
Mhm.
things. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then now I'm on to my second book.
Well, give that first book a shout out, man.
Oh,
what is the name of that
shout
book?
out Gary Keller. It's
Okay.
called What's Your One Thing?
What's your one thing?
Yeah.
I think what would be a good idea for us to do is to reach out to Gary Keller later on down the road
Yeah.
and see if we can get him on the podcast
Yeah, that'd be
and
nuts.
see what his mindset was in creating the book.
Right.
And hearing his thought process about it all. I
Right.
think he'd be a great individual to interview
Yeah.
and bring on the podcast.
Yeah, he's obviously got the brokerage Keller Williams,
Mm-hmm.
so he's got that going.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stuff that he jam packed in there was like, I was like, man, I don't think I would have ever learned
Right.
this anywhere if I
Right.
didn't just pick up the book. So
right.
definitely pick up a book, pick that one up. We'll have a list of recommendations for books.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah. We'll have an entire episode probably
Yeah,
dedicated to that.
Probably, yeah. And then so the last place you were saying to go look is just basically like whatever you're looking to do, whether it's trying to be more fit in the gym
Mm-hmm.
or
Mhm.
learning stocks, reading if you want to
Mhm.
read more, just kind of
Yeah. Going in those spaces.
going in those spaces, diving in there.
Yeah, so I'll use myself for an example. I've always been skinny. Always, and I've recently gotten back into my fitness journey and I missed it. I missed it a lot. I did something that it's funny is when I was at my peak of physical fitness, I remember saying to myself, no matter what happens, don't give up the gym in life. Don't give up the gym.
Yeah.
Because to me, the gym, man, became a sanctuary, man, to meditate,
Yep.
to find peace, to let out
Yep.
the demons.
Yep.
The gym became my therapist,
Yeah.
basically, for me. And I believe all men, honestly, especially young men, should learn what their body can do
Yeah.
when it
pushing
comes
to
to
the limit.
exactly physical fitness, because you're healthier, you feel better, you think better, your and I mean these are topics. These topics we're gonna bring up later on down in the episodes. I don't want to give away too much now, but
Right.
just if you want to find a good way to grow in the fitness realm, go to the gym and find somebody that already has a build similar to what you want, right?
Right.
So for me, I had to find somebody in there that was tall and lanky,
Right.
but they had muscle on them
Yeah.
because the exercises that they were doing are gonna look like how my body would look. Or
Right.
my body's gonna look like how their body would look if I do those exercises.
Right.
I can't go to someone like yourself, man, and ask, "Hey, what are you doing?" I mean, I can ask, right? There's gonna be
Right.
similar exercises, but it's gonna look completely different. If you and I put
Right.
on the same amount of muscle mass, it's gonna look completely
Looks different. Yeah.
you know. But don't be afraid to go into the gym. And initially, I'd say your first time in there, first week in there, first month in there, don't ask anybody anything. Just go in there and work,
Yep.
right? And what I will tell you is, if you go in there enough, somebody's
Right.
gonna say what's up to you.
Right.
It'll be, and it's so subtle with guys. It's a head
Yeah.
nod. It starts
It's
off
like-
as a head nod. Hey man,
Yeah.
I've seen you in here before.
Right.
You know what I mean? What you working on today? You
Right.
have it's just a small conversation like that could turn into the next time, the next week, or whenever you see that person. Hey, real quick, man, I just wanted to pick your brain on something.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to I'm trying to grow my chest more, man. I'm trying to grow my shoulders more. I'm trying to grow my back more.
Yep.
Can you just give me a quick breakdown, man, of your workout that you're doing? They'll tell you
Yeah.
how many sets they're doing, how many reps they're doing. And what you might end up finding out is, I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
I
usually
ended
what
up
the
finding
case
out.
is.
That's usually
Yeah.
what the case is. If you really want to see growth in the fitness space and realm, you have to push your body.
Yep.
You have to. What is the famous saying? Get comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Yep.
This entire world, right, is gonna make you uncomfortable. But at the same time, it can be one of the greatest things that can happen to you because that's where you can grow.
Yeah.
Right? So I would ask some of the guys in the gym, hey man, tell me about this. I've always had skinny legs. What do I need to do for this, this, and this? Still have skinny legs, right?
Yeah.
But they gave me the format to say, go in there, hit legs 3 times a week.
Yep.
Now initially, that sounds like hell.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot. 3 times a
That
week. Man,
sounds
you ain't gonna
like
be
hell.
walking.
But then they said, don't go in there and try and lift the whole gym. Just get the reps in. Get
Yeah.
your body used to handling the weight.
Yep.
And then before you know it, and sure enough, I worked my way up to doing only 1 plate, to
Yeah.
2 plates, to 3 plates. And yeah, man, it's just
Yeah,
chopping
just-
it up, taking the time to find somebody who's already done it, looking at their blueprint, not being afraid to ask them for their blueprint. And then lastly, the most important thing to all of this is you have to apply the knowledge.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Because none of it
Otherwise-
matters if you don't apply.
Otherwise, it doesn't. Yeah, you're just wasting information.
Right.
You know. So
Right.
I know this is episode 1. I promise you guys, a year from now, I'll be back to the best shape of my life. It probably won't
Be
even take
jacked
me that.
again.
It won't even take me that. Yeah, but
'Cause you were,
I'll be.
the people that don't know you.
Yeah,
I mean, you were looking good at one point, man.
I appreciate that, man.
at
appreciate
first, I was
that.
like,
it was a lot
dude,
of hard work.
You were
putting
looking
in-
huge.
I was putting in a lot of work, man. I was in the gym almost every day.
Yeah.
And I was listening to my body, but I also had more time then. I didn't have
Yeah.
a
You got
girlfriend.
you got to
I was just enjoying being single, doing my thing, having fun.
Yep.
But I could work out every day. I made time for it.
Right.
It's like I have to go to the gym after work. And that's another thing too. I want to let the viewers and the listeners know. If you really want something, whatever it is, if you want to get in the best shape of your life, if you want to be successful, if you want to make $1 million, you have to an extent, you have to become obsessed about it. Going back to what you brought up about Jordan. Jordan was obsessed about the game,
Right.
right? And that's why you studied his mindset.
Right.
You ended up finding out like this dude is on the border. I mean, I'm not saying take it to this extreme,
Right.
right? I'm not saying live your entire life as if it's game 6 Utah, because you could burn yourself out. Not everybody
Right.
can handle that.
Right.
We're talking about the top 1% of actually less than that, 0.001% of the human population that's ever existed
Right.
that could achieve what Michael Jordan achieved.
Yeah.
Right.
And
but we're just
I mean,
using him as an example.
Right. Because his life was different. I mean,
Exactly.
this is all he had to do.
Exactly.
so.
Exactly. But you need to become obsessed with it, and you have to take it very seriously. Otherwise, the results aren't going to come. If I didn't go in there and work out every single day after work, my body wouldn't have changed.
No, it wouldn't have.
It wouldn't have,
Yeah.
So
No, that's good, man. Yeah. So get to the spaces you want to get to. That's where you're gonna find your coach. Because in life, even now, I have the people that I call my coaches. They may not know they're my coaches,
Right.
but they're
They
my
are.
coaches.
Yeah,
You know what
they
I'm
are.
saying? So,
Yeah.
and for me, it was, I wanted, I still want to dive in and keep diving in as far as I can into the real estate game. And when I did, that's when I met my coach.
Yep.
And he's there like whenever I call him. And then there's this other guy that I know. He's like my coach. I message him from time to time whenever I got questions, and he's there to answer them.
Yeah.
Man. So it'll definitely change life for you when you find a coach, because it just makes everything easier.
For sure. And there's a certain sense of accountability too.
Yeah, if it's to that extreme.
Right.
With the coach.
Yeah, because sometimes you it's human nature for us to fall off a little bit. Right. Even at the gym, I'd have days, man, where I'd fall off, where I wouldn't go, but then I would remember, man, such and such, my workout partner, he's already heading there.
Yeah,
I can't not go today.
Right.
I can't let him down.
Did he used to check in with you?
So in the beginning, yeah.
Okay.
Because my workout partner, and that's another thing too about teacher. This guy, he was already fit. Right. So he was putting me through the gauntlet.
Yeah.
In the beginning, what he wanted to find out was, am I gonna break? Am I gonna give up? Am I gonna quit?
Right.
Because he used to throw weight on there, and I'm like, dude, I've never done this kind of weight in my life. And he would just look at me and he would literally say, well, you gonna do it today? Were you gonna lift it today? And there would be times, man, I swear to you, where I couldn't get that bar off the ground.
Man,
as hard as I wanted to, man, I was calling on
somebody.
I was calling on all kind of religious beings, spiritual beings, man, Superman, any type of anything that showed strength.
Yeah, anybody come help me.
You know what I mean? Yahweh, all that, man. Oh, Allah, I'm trying to get this bar up, right? And it's not moving. But then there came a day where it moved a little bit. Right?
That's huge.
Where it moved a little bit. And then what happens to the psyche is the psyche just broke past the barrier.
Right.
That initially, before that, you in your mind had already accepted that you couldn't do it.
Right.
To even get it to move, now it's like the brain goes, wait a minute. We can move this mother. You know what I mean? We can wait a minute. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but I know if I keep trying to pick this up, eventually it's gonna move.
I'm gonna pick it up.
And then my partner would say, man, you know what? I want you to do this, not just one time, but I want you to do it 3 times. And then it got to bang. I could do it 3 times.
Yeah.
About 3 months in, he stopped checking on me to see if I was going to come. Because he saw that look in my eye. He saw the hunger that I had. He saw the drive. He saw the ambition. Me, as a student, I had to continuously show up and show that I'm here. I'm here. He didn't have to tell me to be at the gym.
Right.
And if he couldn't go, I'm still there. And I would tell him what I did. And that's when he knew, okay, this guy, it's becoming to where this isn't just something, a hobby or something you want to do. This is a lifestyle.
Right.
This is becoming a part of him.
Right.
That's the space you have to get into with anything in order to be successful.
Right. And I think the one of the most important takeaways I took from that was he wanted to see you win, and all you're telling me, because like we're wrapping up the episode is you wanted to get your body right. So that was your vibe, getting your body right. Then your vibe, you took that, you went in, got in the gym, basically put yourself in that space, found your coach. Coach wanted to see you win, and then before you knew it, you were like, all right, man, this is what it's about, you know? So
exactly.
And I think that's a huge lesson to take away from all this, from anybody who's listening, is like, man, you can set your mind to something, and as long as you stay with it, things are gonna come to you.
They will.
You don't have to go out and chase people.
They
It's
will
gonna come to you.
They will. And you know what's funny too is when you were saying like when I actually was putting on size. Guess what started happening when I was going in there by myself, or when we would be working out together? Now
Was somebody looking for you?
oh
Were
man.
you attracted somebody?
The
Somebody
student-
attracted you to them.
exactly. The student ended up becoming the teacher for
That's
a little
crazy.
bit.
That's
Because
crazy.
now I had guys walking up to me with my build, just like I did before. Like, hey man, I saw you 6 months ago. You didn't look the way that you look now. And that was all natural.
Yeah.
I didn't take anything. It wasn't like I all of a sudden went to 240, 250 jacked.
No,
know?
you just you
No,
you
I
you
was
put on some
like
size.
185
Yeah.
solid. And for my height is very lean, but it was lean, strong muscle. And that's exactly what I wanted because I could still play basketball. I was still nimble. I could
Right.
still, I
Still
didn't
do
want to
some
be.
things.
And that's no disrespect to anybody who's bigger than that. Eventually,
Right.
my goal is to get back to that and get
Right.
bigger. But yeah, man. Then I had kids coming up to me, guys coming up to me. Hey, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And
Full
that-
circle.
Yeah, and it's motivating. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, it's motivating, and it goes back to your tribe.
Yep.
Everybody's helping everybody.
Yep.
And everybody wants to see everybody win. So
Yep.
but-
So man, yeah. So that'll bring us, right at the end of the episode, man. Developing the right mindset.
this was a great first episode.
Great first episode, and for you listeners out there and everybody's watching, this was only part one.
True.
We
True.
actually there's
True.
actually more to this episode. We're just gonna have to save that for later because
Yeah,
I mean we dove into a lot of stuff
we did.
in
We
this
did, we
podcast,
did.
and I hope
We
you
did.
got the message we were trying to deliver from this one. So yeah, man, let's wrap it up with the quote of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to
quote of
wrap,
the
we're gonna
day.
leave you guys with a quote of the day. Give you something to think about till the next episode.
Quote of the day is: a bad day won't change your life, but a bad habit will. And it's so true.
Mm.
It's so true, man. It's so true.
And we'll
So-
see you on
Yeah,
episode
we'll see
2
you on
from there.
episode 2. For everybody, all our viewers and listeners could like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear back from you guys with this being our first episode. Don't be afraid to ask us any questions or leave a comment on a topic maybe that you would want us to go over in the future, right? Or you
Yep.
can even email us. I know we'll have it set up. We'll have
Everything
we'll
be
have
in the
everything in the description.
Yep.
And you guys will be able to tune in and connect with us. We look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you in episode 2.
Peace.